There you go.
Yep, there it goes.
All right. I think we're good. Okay, Lisa. Recording progress. All right. Lisa, you have everyone's names. Who is H. Oddwire Garcia?
That's
I
Alen.
am with Perkins Eastman. It's Alan.
Oh, okay. Sorry, thank you.
No problem.
All right. Approval of agenda. Any changes, edits to the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay. Use your little emoji react buttons to vote, please. Give me a thumbs up if you approve, or is there a second? Sorry, is there a second for the
Second.
Thank you, Ken. All in favor, thumbs up. Heather, you can be our alternate. I think we need an alternate.
You need me voting?
Yeah. Okay. Anyone object? Thumbs down. There's no thumbs down. Just say it if you do. Anyone abstaining? Motion carries. All right. Minutes. Everyone get a chance to review the minutes?
Yes.
No comments. I'll take a motion to approve the minutes for December 4th.
So moved.
There a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, give me a thumbs up. Anyone objecting? Shake your head. Anyone abstaining? Motion carries. All right. There were no public comments submitted, I don't think. None sent. My update, I don't really have an update other than I still haven't heard anything from the mayor's office regarding the special meeting for January. He's been a little bit busy, so we're gonna give him some leeway. There's Friday, I was saying earlier Friday, we are going to bring some treats to the to Newfield. Thank them for all their hard work getting this building up as quickly as possible, ready for next year. Kind of an end of year little mini celebration. And there'll be a tour for the building committee at 3 p.m. on Friday as well. So if you're available, join us. I will have to leave after the noon thing to take my kids somewhere, then I'll come back and do the tour. Yeah, that's all I had. Anything else?
3 o'clock, you said the tour?
3 o'clock, yep. No communications updates. What did she say earlier? She's working on the end of year newsletter and we'll send that early next week. So stay tuned for that. Design subcommittee, anything, Heather? Nope. All right, moving right straight to Perkins.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi,
Hello,
Joe.
hello.
Joe, do you want to share screen on anything? Should I make you co-host or what?
Yes, please.
Okay, you should be good to go.
Okay. Are you seeing our presentation?
Yes.
Yes, there it says it can. All right. There we go. So we have our typical agenda. One added item here. We have a quick field report. We'll have an update on the FF&E and technology, the procurement recommendations for the furniture, and then a PV system update. So just a quick update, Alex will be heading back out to the field tomorrow to do another site observation. Consultants have been continuing to visit as needed, and we've been plugging through submittals and RFIs in priority order as we have been. All right, so for FF&E review process, we received bids on Friday, and we also have procured quotes for the state contract items and the direct purchase items. We've reviewed those with Arcadis. We leveled the bids, and we're prepared to make a bid recommendation tonight, as well as recommendations on the state contract and direct purchase quotes. We have one change to the state contract. There is the seating for the office furniture was determined to not be on any of the state contracts. So we will be putting that out for bid as a rebid, along with the piano and bench, which we did not receive any bids on those. So we're putting those back out for bid. And then the exercise bike that was selected, we did not receive a bid on that, and the wall decal for the fitness room. So those items, being that they are low enough, can now go into a direct purchase because we did not receive bids on those either. For the technology package, we're still working through the sole source process. The TE01, the network switches, was previously approved for product and integrator. The wireless access points have currently been only approved for the product. We did resubmit the sole source letter for review to the reviewer with additional language that we received from the district. So that's still under review. The TE03 package for the phone was approved for product only. So we'll be going out bid with a closed spec for the integrator to install. The TE05, the interactive displays were approved for sole source. The other part of that was the sound systems, where we had alternate manufacturers, so that those were acceptable. So we'll be bidding those as well with the alternate manufacturers. And then the TE06 server and firewall is pending the review of the revised specifications. So that one's still up with the state. And then once that process is complete, we'll be awaiting the approval letter from the technology package to put that out for procurement. Any questions on any of that? Okay, moving on to schedule. So orange line here, we're right at our building committee approval of furniture bids on 12/18. The tech bids, this item is still pending the state review, so this is most likely gonna push out further than the January 8th date here. So we're probably looking more towards the end of January to be receiving bids and leveling those. Other than that, no changes to the schedule. And then we're up to the procurement recommendations. I'm going to go over this broadly per project and per procurement method. So for the CMS FF&E bid items, so this number here, the estimate represents the items that we received bids on that were part of the bid package. Of those items, for the bid value, we had 410,000. We were estimating 466, so we under the estimate by our bids by 56,000. For the state contract estimate of the items that we received state contract quotes for, we're at 436,990 was the estimate. Again, we came in $33,000 under budget for the quotes that we received. And then for the CMS direct purchase items, we ended up being actually slightly higher for the direct purchase. One of the items that were selected was a little bit higher than we had found a quote for when we were doing the design. So that was $66 over budget. Totaling for total procurement to date for the furniture, we're at 89,529 under budget. So we're going to be recommending to accept those bids and quotes for the middle school. For rebid, we have seating for office seating and the piano bench, as previously mentioned. Those items we're estimating are about 43,000 for the seating and 24,000 for the piano and bench. That was per our previous estimates. And then the bike and wall decal was about $800. So we have about 668,000 of items that are still pending procurement. Procured to date matches this number up here. So total estimated where we are right now is about 900,000, 897. So putting us about $200,000 under the original estimate for the furniture package. Any questions?
What was the variance on the state contract, the estimate versus the quote? Didn't you kind of have the numbers in advance on those?
So I think, Alen, maybe you want to explain this better than I can, but when we were working through the state contracts, those numbers aren't always set in stone. Those
That's
are
true. And
the
we
highest
work-
value they can be, and sometimes the vendors on the state
Yeah.
contract will provide us better than the state contract quoted
Correct.
amount.
Yeah, so basically they all came in with better pricing on the bids than they had provided numbers for when we were doing the quote. So it was good that this happened.
I'll take it.
Yeah, so for the state contract items, the town had asked us to look at least get two quotes for those items. So that was part of the reason some of those items came in lower as well.
Yeah, we went with the higher number just to be safe because you never know. So at this point, I think it's good that they came in lower than they had, provided pricing for previously.
And
And
then
then Joe, I did have a question, if you go back to
Sure.
that. So with the, what is the difference between total estimate, the 919, and then original estimate?
So this one here.
Yeah,
So this
yeah,
total estimate, this is the value of the items that we received bids for.
I see.
And then the total procurement was the actual bid of those items.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
the original
Okay.
estimate included all the bid items in total. So we were even lower than our bid amount.
Oh, that includes like the difference on the rebid and the direct purchase? Or-
Yeah, this amount includes these two items here, this and this. So this subtotal and that total. So in the original estimate, we had broken out separately a line item for installment and delivery. And a lot of all the bids had that included. So that was a bigger chunk of savings than we saw up here. That's where part of that came from.
Oh,
And we were our original budget. So I should say this is our original budget, not our original estimate. So our original
okay.
estimate,
That's right.
I'll revise that when I send out the final form here. So our original budget was this amount. Our estimate had savings over the budget.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Now, Joe, is that taking into account small wares and custodial equipment and whatnot? Or do we
So-
still have those things to procure?
Yes, the custodial equipment is included in that.
Included in this, yes.
Okay, I had heard that we got 0 bids on the Genie lift. Where does that factor in?
So the Genie lift is factored into the state contract. We found a state contract for that, so we'll be updating the scope letter to the state to move that from being publicly bid to a state contract number.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Joe, you may want to just mention about the lack of substitutions.
Yes, so some of the bid items that we received, some of the vendors bid substitute products, which we did not feel met the design intent of the furniture package. So we did not accept those bids. Some of those items were a lower value of a lower bid value of what we had as our basis of design. So we did not accept those.
All right, any other questions on that stuff?
But Joe, what we did get was substantially similar to the products that we were looking to receive, right? We didn't have to make any
Yes.
concessions or any surprises. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
all-
no, everything we requested was bid correctly, and if they tried to substitute it with a substandard or sub, quality, we rejected it.
Great, thank you.
Okay, next.
So for the central administration offices, we didn't have any public bid items. We had state contract and direct purchase items. So the direct purchase, do that one quick, is the Keurig and the professional shredder. So those items, the quotes matched what we had estimated, so there was no delta there. For the state bid item, for the state contract items, we had estimated 57,195. Those items actually came in slightly higher on the quotes that we received, so we had a slight increase there of almost $1,400. That carries down. Again, the office seating will go out to bid now instead of being off the state contract that we were anticipating. So that is estimated to be $21,000 worth. And once we bid that, procure to date, will be at 80,000 based on our estimate. So it puts us over the original estimate of about $5,000. So the 80,000 minus that. So we're projecting to be slightly over on the central administration once we rebid the seating.
We have contingency though to cover that, right, Jack?
Yes, we
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, and I know you can't move between projects, but I think this savings here is will
Yeah,
cover that for
offset
the
that.
overall project, but I know they're two separate projects.
Yeah.
So Jack, I don't know if we want to, whoops, go back. We would like to recommend that the building committee accept the state contract quotes and the direct purchase quotes for the central administration office as well.
Emily, is there any special wording of a motion that you think we need, or is that sufficient?
Yeah, well, we should name we usually have the vendors named as to who we're awarding to. I mean, we could do it.
Do we have that breakdown, Joe? So
We-
many dollars to this vendor, so many dollars to that?
We do. This is
A lot of them.
Can have
seeing
the simple version.
gonna see behind the curtain here a little bit. I could move it off screen. Do you want me to just read it off or?
Can we just say like for the recommended list or something to that effect?
Yeah, we can make the recommended list part of the minutes.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
do that.
So would we create a memo for that, Jack? Is that the best way to do that?
Well, we could have the spreadsheet tell the story, and then
Okay.
purchase orders will be cut from there. So I guess
Okay.
the motion would say that we're asking for approval of the state contract and direct purchases,
And public bid.
and
In public bid.
yeah.
Yeah,
and
so
public
you're
bid.
gonna have to Jack, you're gonna have to separate them because we're accepting the central administration state contract amount of 58,590.19.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna be awarding this Cromwell Middle School FF&E public bid amounts 410, right? Joe?
410, yeah.
410, state contract amount 403,
Mm-hmm.
and direct purchase amounts of 15,000. I mean, you could, yeah.
Yeah, we need the direct
Do we-
purchase of the 775 on a Board of Ed as well.
Oh, that's true. The Keurig and the
Yeah.
shredder. Yeah, sorry, forgot about that.
Do we need to have separate motions for each thing, or can we just
You could just do one motion if you would like.
say like,
You could do a motion to approve the amount of 829,865.11, because that takes care of all those three, right, Joe?
Yes.
For
That's
items procured via state contract, public bid, direct purchase.
Perfect.
I think that's better.
Okay.
So
So,
Yeah.
moved.
Second.
thank you. All in favor, give me a thumbs up. And Blaze. Okay. Looks like everyone voted, motion carries. All right. And then the second one's for the central office for a total of 80,500.
Nope, the 59,366.
Oh, because we don't have,
That's not procured yet.
Yeah.
that's not, how come we, the other one, I thought we, okay.
The other one, we did the 829, which is up here.
Oh, okay. I thought we did the 897. I thought that's what she read off. 820. Okay. $59,366.17.
For items procured via state contract and direct purchase.
What she said. Central.
Okay.
Moved.
Is
Yeah,
there a
second.
second?
Second.
Hey, all in favor, give me a thumbs up. Looks like everyone and Claudio. Okay, motion carries. All right. Anything else, Joe?
Yep, just a quick PV system update. So we issued the documents that we received from CES to PAX to do the estimating. We received that this week and forwarded on to CES for their review for scope, just to confirm that PAX captured everything. So they're looking at that. Also forwarded that to Arcadis to use for their use going up to the state. So the total estimate for the as designed came in at 1.76 million. So that includes direct cost of 1.35, design and estimating contingency of 33,779, includes escalation, so 55,000 for that, general conditions 50,000, GC insurance 18,000, performance and payment bond of 22,625, and then the contractor fee of 229,644. So that's where the estimate broke down.
What's the contractor fee for?
I'd have to look into that. It's basically so this is the direct cost of the materials themselves. So I would assume that would be their labor. I have to read
It's
into the estimate.
15% on all of the other costs. Is this, I would
Oops.
presume that this is going to be run through Newfield.
So we developed the estimate to have this bid to a contractor,
Okay, as a separate direct award?
a separate direct award. If that would be an owner decision on how you want to procure it, if you wanted to seek as a change order through Newfield, we would have to revise the estimate to account for that.
So for conversation's sake, Roseanne, I'd say we're coming in at the construction cost of 1.8 for conversation.
Is that like almost double what we thought we were going to be paying for it? I forgot what we.
No,
what
I
our
think we said like $4 per kilowatt.
Yeah, I'd have to look back to
On a
see what.
400K system. I think I had 1.6 in my head just from
So
that
16. Okay, so
rough
it's
math.
Yeah, same here. I thought that when CES came to discuss it with the committee, they had said just around 1.6.
okay. All right, so not that far off.
Is
And
that design that 33,000? Like, did some of that we already had approved ahead of the game,
So
or is that additional?
that's design and estimating contingency. So if anything changes between the time of estimate and the time we issue bid documents,
Oh, that's
that
a
would cover
contingency.
any
Okay,
changes in the design itself, not in our fee.
gotcha.
How much would it add if Newfield was to take this as a change order?
I'm not sure. I'd have to get that from the estimator. I would assume there would be the CM markups on all of this would be the major difference, but I don't know if the contractor fee would change. So I'd have to review that with PAX.
And then a follow-up to that, if we don't give it to Newfield to administrate this, who would administrate follow-up on the construction and all that?
It would be similar to the furniture, so I don't know who. I know for the CA review process, I believe I had to check our proposal. I think we included CA time for this. But again, the procurement, I'll have to look at our proposal to see what we had in there.
So with a desire to approve the documents to go up to the state at the January 22nd meeting, there would be time to have that number reviewed to see if it was something through Newfield. We could have that for comparison purposes. So Joe, you're comfortable with our seeking a date on or around the 27th of January?
Yes.
So Jack, you mentioned, just to go back about 30 seconds, you said to have Newfield look at it for comparison purposes. And logistically speaking, based on Ken's question, how do we get this built?
To have the estimator review it and look at what if the numbers would change and by how much, if this were factored in as another construction phase under Newfield's contract.
Okay, and if we didn't go with Newfield, how would it get built?
So it'd be more of a GC type of situation. So there'd be most likely an electrical contractor that would be installing it.
Okay, so we'd have to hire another contractor.
Yes, it'd be a separate party from Newfield.
Okay. Which is another cost on top of what we're looking at?
So I think
Or is
what
that
you're
what the
asking,
229 is?
I think Jessica, what you're asking, if Newfield's not supervising, who would?
Exactly.
And as Joe says, the contract administration portion of their design is factored in. We're presuming the work would happen while there are still other activities on site. That's something perhaps Arcadis could look at for you, but ideally, since it's interfacing with other things that Newfield is doing, I think the preferred route is to treat this as another phase of construction under Newfield contract.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense to me. But just curious if it was another cost. Is that what the contractor fee is?
The contractor fee, I believe, is I'll have to look into the estimate to see what that is.
Okay.
Yeah, right now that's a 15% markup of all the other costs. So it appears though that's the trade contractor's overhead and profit.
Okay, but not a general contractor.
No, but the electrical contractor acting as though a general for this single scope.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, well, I don't get why we would need a general contractor. Just be one contractor responsible for this work.
Right, it would be an electrical contractor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most likely.
All right. Yeah.
So
Thanks.
they would, they would interface with us and the architect and Arcadis, no different than the way Newfield does.
Okay.
I do think though there's a benefit to having Newfield involved in it if it were to be a change order. Especially, when you're putting things up on roofs, you get into some, you could potentially get into issues with warranty, right? So to have that all under one general contractor and not having people pointing fingers at each other in case there was ever an issue would definitely be a benefit to having this be a change order to Newfield.
Okay.
I'd be okay with that.
So our next step in the path towards getting to the state would be to create a new phasing letter. Break this out as Joe is showing there as phase 4 of 4. Right now, furniture and technology is phase 3 of 3. So we would be changing the scope of the project to add a 4th phase for the PV. The state already knows that we want to head in this direction. And now that we have costs that we can reflect in the phasing letter. We can submit that to the state to update the file, and then request a meeting, in proximity to that January 27th date for plan review. And
I have one more question as it relates to if we are to proceed with this as a change order. Would Newfield treat this as a change order to their electrical subcontractor, or would they bid it out as well?
the preference is that we would treat it as another phase of construction. We had our enabling phase, with the site prep and the purchase of long lead items. That was all, part of Newfield's overall responsibility. They bid those things, and then we rolled it in as part of the GMP. Similarly here, that they would put this out as a separate construction phase, multiple electrical contractors, hopefully including the ones that we've got on site already, would be bidding on this, and we get the best value we could out of that competitive process.
Okay.
Chris, do you disagree with that approach in any way?
We can bid it out. We can look at it through Custom Electric, who's our prime electrical contractor. We can do whatever you guys would like if you were to choose us and ask us to put something together for you.
Ken, my recommendation, since we got so many zeros in that number, a lot of places there. Something of this size, I would be reluctant to just award as a change order. Even though Custom's doing a good job for us, I think fiduciary responsibility of the committee is best supported by putting this out to bid to multiple electrical contractors.
I'm sorry, are we putting the labor and install out to bid, or are we putting the actual product itself, materials out to bid, or are those kind of convoluted, one and the same?
The whole scope, materials and installation.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's healthy to
So
get multiple bids. Yeah.
who would do that?
We would turn those documents over to, my recommendation is that we treat this as another phase under Newfield's contract. So it would become part of the GMP.
Okay.
Right, so Newfield would develop a trade package for this. That would go into the project manual, their front end as well. That develops the entire project manual along with the drawings, and that would go out to bid, similar to what we did for the building.
Yeah, we have no problem stepping in and doing that if that's the direction the committee would like us to go.
I think I like that plan.
Yeah, I agree, Roseanne. With that, we're in the process of wrapping things up, and Newfield would have, complete control of all the activities around the site versus, having another party in there trying to get access while we're trying to do finishes too. So.
Yep. Okay. We need to vote on that, Jack, or?
No, this is really an update of a charge that you gave Perkins. When we get the final documents and final estimate, with that factor of having Newfield handle this as another part of their work, all prepared for the meeting on the 22nd of January, then there will be a vote. And we would also need the Board of Ed, similar to our recent approval of furniture and technology in the other construction phases.
So is this going to be considered like a phase 5?
No,
It's phase 4.
Phase 4.
Phase 4.
Furniture and technology were combined.
Okay.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah, so it'd be project phase 4 would be, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, construction phase 2 of 2. Unless you're counting the early bid package as a separate phase.
Yeah, it was phase 1, 2 is
2 is the build.
Yeah, 2 is the building, 3 is the FF&E technology, 4 would be PV.
Right. So same. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So we also met last week with building inspector and fire marshal to review the documents with them and introduce the design of the PV system. So they were happy with what we showed. One of the things that the building inspector will require as part of the permit review is signed and sealed structural calculations and drawings to illustrate that the structural system was designed to support the PV system, which it has been. So this would be an additional service to D. Simone, who was the structural engineer. That was not included in our original proposal for the PV system. We didn't know that was going to be a requirement for the building inspector. Our proposal did include monies to go to planning and zoning, which is not required. So once I receive the proposal from D. Simone, we would like to apply it to the monies that have already been approved for planning and zoning that we won't be using.
Well, if I could, through the chair, these are calculations that they've already done during the design process, so it's work product that already exists. To take, X number of pages out of the file of existing work product and put a cover letter on it with a seal doesn't sound to me to be all that taxing, that it would require an ed service.
So they're going to be calculating based on the proposed design to confirm that it's meeting their structural design. And they have to produce an additional drawing and the calculations and sign and seal it.
What would the additional drawing be though?
It'd be a structural drawing showing,
The actual hardware that's going to go on?
yes.
Got it.
So we could speak more to it once I receive their proposal and what they will be required to do.
So it's more like a structural verification drawing that shows that the proposed hardware that is supposed to go on there is suitable, even though the original drawings showed that a certain max would be suitable.
Right.
This
So
is just verifying them.
it'll show the locations of the PV system and how it's being deployed along with the calculations. I think the calculations are really the bigger part of it.
Like, do I need the drawings?
Yes, the building inspector is requiring the drawing. So I just wanted to inform you of that. Once we get the proposal, we could talk about it more in detail then.
It is a little weird that we'd have to recalculate it. If I'm assuming D. Simone, calculated it and then had some fluff in there for, some extra weights and things for safety factors or whatever.
Yeah, it's almost like what do we go to the initial effort for then?
No, I mean, I agree that there's definitely an initial effort. I don't think it's as easy as just writing a cover letter, and then just stamping the drawings you already have. But to recalculate it, I don't know. Let's see what their proposal says, but that it seems weird that you'd have to recalculate it for something that we already included a certain load factor for.
Right.
Yeah, it seems like we'd want to just verify that it's within what we've already estimated, right? Kind of a side-by-side comparison.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you factored in for 500 pounds and it weighs 300, should be fine.
Right.
Okay, well, let's see what their estimate says.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or what their proposal says.
Proposal, yeah.
And I think with Joe, you're saying that if it's within that $6,000 allowance that the committee has already approved, you would like to just instead of just to reallocate those funds to there. So there would be no increase, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so first thing first is get the proposal.
Yes, haven't received that yet. I was hoping to have it for today's meeting, but
okay.
So we're still tracking on schedule here, so approval of documents depending on where we had 122. So Jack, I guess let us know if we should proceed, or Rosanna, if we should proceed with the design now that we have the estimate and start finalizing that. I'm putting together the bid documents for January. Or do we have to wait for state approval of the phase before we start proceeding with the rest of the scope?
No, we've already discussed with the state that we're adding this phase to the project. The only thing that was preventing the phase letter from being updated was the cost, which we now have.
Okay.
So, finish the documents. We'll get it on the agenda for the January 22nd meeting. Make our
Okay.
with Board of Ed to make it a joint meeting, if at all possible. And meanwhile, I'll be asking for a PCR date.
Excellent. That's all that we had for our presentation tonight.
Joe, speak on the PV system. Was there something you were looking at to get a expectation of the kind of annual
Like a
power
life
usage?
cycle? Yes. So we received the information requested from Claudio. I've passed it on to CES, so I haven't heard back from them on that. So I'll be checking with them on that and their review of the estimate. So I'll be following up this week on those items.
Okay.
All right. That's all, Joe?
That's it.
All right, let's move on to Newfield.
All right, I was having some technical difficulties, so Emily is going to drive the bus on the presentation.
I'm going to share my screen. And we'll start with the videos that Newfield has. Chris.
Yes, as promised, I was able to get the drone inside. I got you about 11 minutes of video.
Wow.
You guys see my screen?
Yes.
We saw it, but it went away.
Yeah, we see your meeting invite right now.
All right. See, how does that work?
Perfect.
That's better.
All right. So first that and make it full screen. All right, there you go, Chris.
All right.
Chris, has this drone been to New Jersey?
No, it has not.
Maybe they're just building a lot of high schools out there.
Obviously, we're in the main corridor here. There's a little lag in the video, but you'll see that we're starting to frame out in here in the auditorium. You'll see your ductworks up there, all the main branch lines, fire protection, everything's coming along very nicely in the auditorium right now. As we come back into Main Street, you'll see down the hallway there that we have a great deal of the insulation in the wall already, and we're starting to work through the drywall in the media center over there. This area to the right where you see the door bucks up and no block, that's where they're finishing up block work right now. Should be out of there sooner than later. But this is your media center here. This is that space that looking out that way would be the courtyard through the windows there. There will be a door right there. You'll see that blocking in the wall there, the orange, that's where a folding partition will be. Now you're in the robotics area. And yes, the sink is there. I checked the other day. There'll be another door right here into coding. And you're gonna have your sound booth and all that stuff behind the drone right now. Now I'm facing towards the cafeteria. That's the cafeteria. There will be a whole window wall there in front of the both those columns that you just see there. And now we're going into the B wing. We should be starting to do taping in this area within the next couple of weeks. As as we get up the stairs, you'll see that we've first coated everything up there.
You're already taped and primed in the corridor, correct?
We're taped. We're not primed yet. We're getting there though. You'll see when we get up there. In the stairwells, we block filled. I'm still working out the kinks with the drone. Oh, I apologize for the herky jerky, but we're getting there. We'll at a time. You'll see there's a block fill in the stairwell, starting to finish out that space. We'll start working through some handrails, miscellaneous metals. You can see that the pieces to accept the actual handrails themselves are there, but we got to get those put in as well. And as we come into the second floor here, all of our major systems are becoming complete now. You'll see all the mainline duct runs are inspected, insulated. All the mainline FP lines are in. We're going to be pressure testing those as we go. All your heads are ready to drop into the pads. You'll see them on the right-hand side there. On the left-hand side, that's all your fire alarm, temperature controls, all that kind of stuff is starting to come in and branch out into the rooms. You'll see all the corners on the drywall. Everything's been first coat taped. And I'm going to take you into a room right here. This is one of your classroom spaces. Just a typical run of the mill. Left-hand side is your teaching wall. Right-hand side would be back of classroom. I spin around here and you'll be able to see the typical layout within the ceiling of the mechanical units and whatnot. That box that you see on the top left, right there, next to the orange cable, that's where all your power comes into the room. It branches out from that box. That's a secondary drain line. You have your hydronics line, your VRF systems there. All your ductwork is in and insulated. Everything's been inspected, and we're moving right along. Not mistaken, I think Dan's planning on right after the first of the year coming up here to start actually priming walls. There are certain areas where the drywall has not been completed, and that's based upon the fact that we don't have a proper seal on windows yet. So we don't want to have an issue with any water infiltration or anything. So we've held off in certain areas, but for the most part, we've come along pretty well. You can go to video too if you want. It only takes about five minutes and 25 seconds at a time, so before it cuts me off. Again, those are systems that you're seeing there for hydronics loops, fire protection. The boxes that you see in the walls are for fire alarm, things of that nature, glass breaks, stuff like that, security. When we come down here into the first floor, you'll see it's all sheetrocked. We haven't made it down to tape yet. They've been focusing a lot of their attention on getting the drywall up right now. But as of today, they actually came down here and started doing corners and taping out walls and whatnot within the rooms themselves. See, all your door frames are in.
So did you send the crew in, for 3 extra days before the video to clean things up, or is this normal for you?
This is absolutely normal.
Good answer.
It's actually usually a little bit better than this. I caught them at the end of the day. I waited for all the guys to get out and then I did this. Usually they clean in the morning, after the day's work. We have this portioned off so that we can keep the heat where we want it to, so that our costs don't get out all crazy and whatnot with fuel. But you'll see everything in the building has sound insulation to help out with acoustics. And we're coming back now. We're heading east back into the Main Street here. And then I came across into the cafeteria. You'll see it in the cafeteria, all your main branch lines for ductwork are in, all your fire protection. They're starting to work on branch circuitry. On the right there, that would be water fountains. So those are your two doors for the servery. You'll have two sides to the servery. And then obviously that's pointing north into where the new baseball field or softball field will be actually. So now I'm in the servery and into the kitchen. Your freezer cooler setup is actually coming on Friday. We're going to start that installation sooner than later. All your major mechanicals, with exception to the hood, are installed within the ceiling. All the sound attenuators are in, everything that we need to get in ahead of time. Now that blue wall in front of me is the back side of the gym. When I come into here, now you're looking down to the BOE. So this is your shipping and receiving area right there with your custodial office and some storage. Then this right here is your MDF. That's the brains of the building here. You'll see all the plywoods in, starting to rough out the boxes. All those boxes that you have there are the ladder racks for teledata, and all of your server equipment. And then across the hallway is obviously the electrical room. That's the main electrical room. Your ATSs have been mounted, which are your automatic transfer switches for the generator. We're starting to get some of these transformers installed. All the back boxes are in. Your main electrical gear will go there on the left when I pan around here. Right there. That's where your main electrical gear will go on the left-hand side. And then a transformer will go on the right side there.
Are projected delivery dates holding to what was originally promised for gear and transformer and generator?
Everything with exception to the main switchboard, which is scheduled to come right at the end of January. But all transformers, disconnects, panel boxes, guts, the whole shooting match, we already have. So now we're in the BOE. We're actually planning on starting to hit this area really hard with sheetrock within the next 2 weeks, just to get out of this space. All your in-wall rough-in, everything is in. They're going through the inspection processes right now. And in all actuality, we are right where we thought schedule-wise, so. And can I share for one moment, please?
You want to share screen? I've got to
If you don't mind, just
co-host.
yeah, just for one moment, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Okay. You should be
Bear,
good.
bear with me. Okay. So this is what I wanted to share with you folks. So that's south elevation of the building today. We started putting in glazing units. These are your windows. So your operable section will be in here, right? On each level. And this is a big milestone right here. They're gonna start doing the caulking around the windows on the 30th. And then your fenestration on the exterior of the building will be, for all intents and purposes, complete, less the edge metal that we have to put on at the roof level. So we're coming along nicely within the courtyard. The brickwork on the north side of the A building, by the way, should be complete by the end of next week. They'll continue with the window frames and all that within there as well. Once again, our main thrust right now is to get out of the courtyard to allow Mather to do as much work as he can in there over the winter. And I could share more pictures, but your amphitheater walls, the concrete for the amphitheater walls have been poured, so we're ready to accept brick when we're ready, and the stone on there. And they're actually forming out your semicircular walls within the courtyard area right now as well. So we're making good headway in there as we can with the weather. And once again, we're trying to pick off things as much as we can. So thought you'd appreciate seeing that. Any questions?
I love windows. Are those windows, do they have a film on them? Or are they tinted, or why are they greenish?
I'm
Just-
sure Joe can answer that question better, but most of your insulated glazing units have that kind of hue to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Usually it's a low E coating.
Yes.
Yes.
Got it. Awesome. Windows are very exciting to me.
Yeah, and a shout out to Perkins Eastman. They gave you a really good product for these windows on this project. So I'm really impressed with the quality of what we have here.
Awesome. It's good to hear. All right. Thank you, Chris. Arcadis, Jack.
Very good. And we'll get our slides back up.
Oh, in the meantime, while Jack's bringing those up, Eversource, I did receive word today that it is in the easement department now, and they are
Okay.
starting their official process. That was word that I received just before I left today. So,
Oh, excellent. That's good to hear.
all right.
All right, our typical report agenda, we've already seen the videos. We'll go through financials and then our record of change orders and some additional approval items today. Next slide. To date, we've encumbered just over 60 million of the 68.3 million on the middle school. Our unencumbered amount includes the furniture and equipment, technology, and owner's contingency, as well as our bid savings. Those numbers will change now that we've awarded our furniture and equipment. We've received cash in from the state, almost 4.9 million so far. On the middle school, we've got an unencumbered balance of just under $900,000. We'll also be taking furniture out of that due to the recent approvals. We have, due to the small dollar value of the grant for the central administration, we have not received any cash payments from the state so far. Next. The highlighted items are those that have changed since the last report. Obviously, we've been paying for construction, so our expended to dates go up. Bond counsel fees, we did have some fees to pay for their owner's representative as well. And we've got invoice for Perkins in tonight's approval pile, so that will be logged for next month.
What was the What was the bond council? What was that about, Jack?
That is the fee to the entity that assists the town with selling the bonds that actually raise the cash for the project.
Hmm.
The bonded debt.
Did we have a budget for them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the budget for them is right here, Rosanna.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Okay.
So this is the budget for bond council. And here is for central admin. Sharon provides those. These are ineligible for reimbursement, but they're typical costs when selling bonds.
Thank you.
Owner contingency at the start of construction was 3.38 million. We've transferred out 862,000. We've transferred back in almost 50,000. So our owner's contingency to date sits at just over 2.4 million. So we've consumed, about $58,000 since last report. On central admin, current value is 151 versus 164, so a slight decrease there with change orders and such.
And that does not include the PV system.
Correct.
Why did I think we had like 4 million? Oh, so we're not talking, we never transferred over the savings from the construction.
Correct. Our bid savings is sitting in a separate line from the owner's contingency.
Yeah. Okay.
And right here too, for central admin.
Yeah. Thank you.
Jack, do you have a sense for where the owner's contingency is now relative to where, maybe you'd expect it to be in terms of, at this stage of construction?
At this stage, we have nipped a little bit for, as we spoke about our furniture and technology approvals, there are going to be some small adjustments, or there have been some small adjustments from contingency into those values. We've got some bid savings from the furniture and equipment. Those dollars, once the dust settles with all the individual procurements, the remainder will be swept and put back into owner's contingency. So I'd say for percent of construction, where we're dollar value wise, I think Chris and I spoke earlier, for the December requisition, we'll probably be ticking over 50% complete on construction value. And we're much less than 50% consumed on owner contingency. So I think right now we're, in spite of our very early and very scary numbers for the dewatering, et cetera, I think we've maintained a pretty good position.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that if it tends to, kind of track the percentage of build construction services, or is it a little more like backloaded, kind of the last 5% of the building is where you kind of get a whole bunch of stuff that you maybe have to change on, or is it kind of smooth?
It's usually it can be front loaded, where it's you run into problems getting out of the ground, as we did, where you have some surprises, be it rock or water or whatever. We may near the end of the project find some things in the abatement and demolition that were unexpected. So there may be,
that's right, there's that, yeah.
There may be some surprises there, but right now on a dollars invested versus contingency consumed standpoint, we're ahead of the game.
Cool. Thanks for the commentary on that.
Okay, so you see the breakdowns here. Emily, anything you want to bring to light?
Well, this is just through December 1st. So next report, you'll see the increases for testing that was approved last meeting at the 4th. So that will be shown right here. Yeah, testing right here. So, but otherwise this accounts for, and the PO increase for procurement to Perkins, which is a slight increase here. So those were the only two increases you approved in December 4th, plus whatever we're going to approve today. But so far today, these are all the changes that have happened against the owner contingency for CMS and for central admin. It's to recap for your knowledge.
And to highlight some comments I made a moment ago, you see in the bottom right here, FF&E and technology budget increases that we made, in the past. So those have all been accounted for. Next. Change order subcommittee has been diligent in reviewing items. We have change order number 9 to Newfield for the middle school, which has been reviewed and approved each of these individual PCOs, the total value of which is, drum roll, $100,936.99. And our recommendation is that a motion be made to affirm the change order committee's approval of change order 9 in that value. So if we could have a motion.
Could we just talk about bulletin 3 and 4 real quick, since they're the big ones? What was that? Wasn't that?
Joe,
Oh,
you
for
want
OS,
to,
yeah, that one.
I can talk to Joe too if you want. Bulletin,
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Trying to
yeah,
find
no
a
worries.
button.
Bulletin 3 had to do with the sound attenuators that we were going back and forth with CES and our trade contractor with. We had found some issues through the review process, and these were dollars that were spent to get us to where we needed to be based on schedules versus specifications versus drawings. So there were some discrepancies in there. And then four had to do with the brunt of that number four was the dark fiber interconnect that we had talked about. It's the excavation and installation of 2-inch conduit and the revised 48 strand fiber optics cable to facilitate the dark fiber interconnect. And there was also about $5,000 in there for mirrors that were added at the fitness center on the south wall.
Whereas the mirrors was like an add-on, like a change?
Yeah, there were no mirrors in the fitness center, and we added mirrors for a cost of $5,000.
Who wanted mirrors? Why do we need mirrors?
It came through the furniture design process to add mirrors to the fitness room wall.
$5,000 worth of mirrors in a middle school tiny fitness room. Right? That's where they're going. They're not going in the locker rooms or anything. They're going in the fitness room.
Correct.
Maybe I'm the only one who has a problem with that. It's fine.
so do we have a motion, please?
Anyone have any discussion on any of these? If not, I'll take a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
For a second.
Second.
All in favor, give me a thumbs up. Looks like everyone approved positively, so motion carries.
Next, we have change order number 2 for central admin in the amount of $1,512.04. And we ask for a motion to affirm the change order committee's action on that change order number 2.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. There's a second.
Second.
All in favor, give me a thumbs up. Okay, motion carries.
Thanks, Jack. The one before this was the change order 9. That was Newfield for CMS, right?
CMS, correct.
Okay. Yeah.
Moving on for approval. We have a ad service request for move management and FF&E support services for Arcadis. The FF&E procurement assistance will assist town finance office in getting the documentation put through for all the buyouts, as well as establishing the audit grant file. That's predominantly Miss Emily working through the process there. The value of that is $4,850. And the next portion of this is for move management services. This includes, scroll up a little further. I can't see the, okay, the assisting with the procurement of moving services, development of the move plan, staging and storage, and supervision of the move, coordinating all the logistics with the move vendor and Newfield, working with the staff by packing and moving instructions, coordinating the actual move effort. We will need to temporarily store items in trailers on site as soon as school ends, because we won't be ready to move all those goods into the new building just yet. So there will be a temporary storage on site and then the move from the trailers into the building, coordinating that with the receipt and installation of the FF&E items. Working through the punch list for FF&E with the design team and overseeing the vendor closeout and invoicing process. You see the approximate schedule for moving events begins early in January and runs through late August when school begins, and then there's the payment and punch list process that goes along with that.
Where's the cost for the trailers come in? You have temporary storage trailers.
That would be a component of the proposal for moving services. Those trailers would be provided by the movers. And,
can we just use the gym, or is it just logistically too hard to get in and out of there?
We'll be actively in the demolition and the pre-demolition abatement process.
Okay.
We can discuss that with Newfield to see from a progress through the building of the abatement effort, if it may be possible to to use existing space, or if that would just get in their way. But that's something we'll determine before we solicit proposals from the mover.
Okay.
So you're saying those trailers are going to be another add-on at some point? Or are you saying they're part of already a fee that we've accepted?
That would be part of, we have not procured moving services yet. And we need a mover. We would recommend we work with somebody on the state contract. That's been the most expeditious way we've done it on previous projects.
It'll be part of their
RFP. Yeah.
Got it.
And that component of our request is $58,500. And Em, you've got a summary.
And that's for both projects?
Yes. So taking those two tasks turns out to be a net add of $60,373 for the middle school and $2,977 for central admin, for a total value of $63,350.
I mean, I'm okay with that. That's a lot of work that's got to go into it, and coordinating all these teachers and faculty.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other comments? Otherwise, we can vote.
Rosanna, do we have to approve them separately as separate projects, or is this okay?
I think this is okay, right, Emily?
Okay, yeah, you're approving the total amount, and then I'm just showing you how we're gonna break it out to each project.
Yeah. All right, all in favor, give me a thumbs up. Looks like it's unanimous. Motion carries.
We had a last minute ad for discussion, Jack, which is Perkins.
Yes. Joe, would you like to cut out the middleman and just describe this directly?
Yes, this is something we had tabled back last spring when we were looking at our supplemental services. It was the reimbursable services for bulk reproductions. If you look at if you scroll up a little, it describes the contract language where we are anything beyond 6 copies included in the basic services fees or in additional services. So we outlined what those copies were. So we had a set for schematic design, one for design development, numerous sets for the planning and zoning application, early procurement package set for review, construction document set for review, and then PCR sets for the AHJ to review. So that accounted for our 6 copies of bulk reproductions in our base contract. And then we outlined below additional service for conformed documents. There's 4 sets of the conformed construction documents for the one for the trailer and 3 for the AHJ. So that was the building inspector, fire marshal, and the zoning department. So that was the drawings and project manuals. And then for planning and zoning, we also had to procure record sets of Mylars that were issued for the amounts listed there. So it was 14,302 for the total of beyond our basic services sets. And for as a reimbursable markup, we are permitted 10% markup on those items for the total of 15,700. And this is our accounting breakdown of those charges from Blue Edge, is the printing house that we utilize to procure the documents.
So Joe, I have a number of issues here. First one being, I thought we made an agreement that any work that you felt was outside the scope of your contract was supposed to be brought to us first before you completed the work. And I thought we went through a whole reconciliation of past charges.
Right, so the reimbursable amounts were discussed at that time, and they were tabled as part of that discussion because we didn't have an accounting of those items.
That's my recollection, Rosanna. It was discussed and talked about because we, as Arcadis, we had recommended, I believe it was a not to exceed of 20,000, but the committee wasn't comfortable with that until they got a full accounting. So Joe has, long after that item was tabled, has put this together.
I just don't understand how documentation costs $9,000. That is, it hurts my head. I don't, what, is it special paper? Is it like thousands and thousands of pages? Like what?
It was, I don't know the exact number of sheets per set. It's a couple hundred sheets per set times 4 sets plus the project manuals, which are multiple volumes. That was included for that.
But $9,000? I don't understand how that could even remotely come close to that. What am I missing?
That's how much it would probably cost me to print them with somebody like ARC.
Yeah, Blue Edge is similar.
It's really not unusual.
What am I missing? Like these are the packages of paper, right?
These are the full sets of construction documents. You know, after we got through the bidding process with all the addenda, the design team creates what's called a conform set, where they put all that information in one spot so that the builders have one set of documents with all of the information included. And this is the 9,300 divided by 4. That's a lot of money per set. I remember, I'm old enough to remember when we used to ask for $100 deposit from the contractors when we went out to bid.
Are these 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper? I'm missing it. I mean, I
So
remember
for the drawing sets, it's 30 by 42 sheets.
okay.
And the project manuals are 8.5 by 11. And then the Mylars were 24 by 36 sheets.
So these are all printed off some kind of plotter somewhere.
Yes. Yeah, for sets for orders of this magnitude, we do not do this in-house any longer.
When did we have the conversation? So when we went back through the additional charges earlier this year, wasn't that late winter, early spring?
I believe it was
Yeah, I think we've
finally approved in March.
we were beyond the conform set port, but we were still active in the planning and zoning revisions.
Okay. So I thought we also talked about back then that we would have more timely submittals of charges. And we're creeping up on
So like these
10,
June
10
ones,
months on this one.
if you scroll up, we had like June charges in here, right? That was after those conversations, or is this all last year stuff?
This is all from 2024 that we're asking
Yeah.
for.
So that was after we had the discussion about let us know how much it costs first before you do anything.
These are requirements from the AHJ and the zoning department. So we have no choice but to provide these documents. And
You're saying you already provided the set once. You're saying you're contracted only to provide one set to them.
So our contract was for 6 sets of bulk reproductions, which were described above as I broke it down from schematic design, design development, construction documents, early procurement package, and the 3 sets that we in planning and zoning, and the 3 sets that we did for the PCR review for the building.
Yeah, so I don't have a basis for comparison on the cost of the sets. I definitely rely on others who have experience here. I thought this would have been charged to us sooner. Because I thought that's what we talked about, is having more timely invoicing.
Yeah, we're in December now. We're talking about charges from 2022.
Well, maybe for clarity there, the items 1 through 6, I think, Joe, you're saying that those were our 6 sets that we were, for record purposes, that's how we used our 6 sets.
Correct. And if you look at those numbers, they are actually way beyond 6 copies, which is what the contract describes. So we did it as six bulk printings, which equates to a lot more than 6 copies.
Okay. So I think that's just a reference, Rosanna. We're not getting extra charges for that. It's
I see. Yeah.
Yeah, it's items 1 and 2 below from February and then May to July.
Correct.
Just for order of magnitude, I've got some market pricing on large format prints like we're doing for our construction sets. 30 by 42 documents are in the $2.50 to $3 a page range for a black and white copy. So that adds
and to further put reference on that, there's about 378 drawings that are that size, and there's about 8,000 pages of double-sided specs.
The specs are the 8.5 by 11.
Yes.
That's all part of that 9,000 cost, right?
Correct.
For a little perspective, my firm, we do print in-house once in a while, not often, but sometimes. And we in our contracts, we charge by the sheet. So if I feel like printing out a drawing that I'm going to redline, we charge our clients.
How much you charge per sheet? Under $3?
It depends if it's black and white or color. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. I don't know, Ken, do you think this is reasonable?
I do.
All right. Well, if everyone thinks it's reasonable, I'll take a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Give me a thumbs up. I'm gonna abstain.
Next, and the last item for us tonight is review and approval of invoices. We have a series of individual invoices from materials testing. These have all been reviewed and vetted by Ron. We have the Perkins Eastman November Construction Administration Services. And we have the November requisitions for construction payment from Newfield. The total value of the package tonight is $4,234,193.77. We recommend approval.
Make a motion to approve.
So moved.
There's a second.
Second.
All in favor, give me a thumbs up. Okay, everyone voted positively, motion carries. All right, any other business anyone wants to bring up?
What was that total there, Jack? I know it's in the materials. What was that? That was like a 4 million. So it's roughly 4 million, was it?
4,000,004 and change, Emily?
4,234,193.77 cents.
Okay. And then Jack, did you have that slide? I know you said the state reimbursed to date. I think that was around 4 million. Did you have that? Can you just pull back up that slide that was expended to date?
Yes. But that's only through, I believe, expenses through
12/1 or?
September of this year or August of this year, if I would like to say. I'm going at the end of the month for expenses for, no, it was through August, because I'm going for September, October, and November.
Oh, you mean you're going to the state
To
for?
the state, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So this is what the state has paid so far through expenses through August for the town.
Okay.
We have to show the state the actual check number, showing them that the town has paid.
Yeah, no, I know there's a lag in that and there's
Yeah.
only so often. Okay. All right. So it's there's really no apples to apples. I'd have to look at how much we paid through 8/31 and
Right, you would have
Okay.
to. I mean, I can show you that because I do have a calculation to kind of project to Sharon what our projected state reimbursement progress payment is. And I could share that with you so you could see it. But right now, it's just for the middle school. When I spoke to her the day before yesterday, we were gonna see where we stand with central admin to see if we go also at the end of this year, but we would need all expenses through November to be paid literally by next week. And
yeah.
with Sharon going on vacation at the end of the year, that might be cutting a little close. So we'll
Okay.
just have
But
to-
you're gonna go to the state for at least
for the middle school.
September and October for the middle school for September, October, and November.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's all. Thanks.
All right, anything else? All right, I'll see most of you on Friday. Everyone else, have a great holiday break. We see each other again January 8th. January 8th. We'll be virtual again. We get to these winter months. But not happy holidays, whichever holidays you're celebrating, and Happy New Year. And we'll see each other in January.